welcome to another exciting show. Show 24.
Now,
yeah.
I'm not going to be as excited because I should be on a plane right now, or almost.
I don't even want to talk about it, man. I feel so sad.
Right,
on my way to the motherland.
But it's for a reason, man. That you're not there. That you're in a better place, and that's here with us. Woo-ya!
Glory, man. United! You're welcome. What did happen this weekend?
Yeah, what did we do this weekend, man? It was a busy weekend. I can't remember what we did.
What did you all do this weekend? What did you do?
I'm on my Oreo schedule, so yeah.
What did you all do?
You know what? I have a mental. Oh, my wife and daughter was away at retreat.
Yes.
So this weekend was a calm
gardening,
landscaping, doing stuff. Did I go to church? I can't remember what I did, man. It was just a lot was going on this weekend. I can't remember.
But eat on the couch, ate popcorn, and watched movies.
I did watch a couple of movies, but I did not just sit on the couch. But Sunday, though, man, was a blown out service. Bishop preached like the Shekinah glory was just in the house, man.
And then, of course, he's preaching combined with the women coming from the retreat.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this was called a running fest.
Yes, a running fest.
A running fest. And they were running around the sanctuary. He was.
Oh, Saturday. How can I forget?
Oh, bowling.
All the men of transformation went bowling.
Oh, that's what did you invite me to? That's right.
Stuff going on that day, so we all went bowling. Like 27 of us had a good time.
Yeah.
So what did you invite me to? Guys were too scared to bring, so I could bring my A game.
No. I was just about to say that. Whoa. I was just about to say that. See, now and again, what the Baltimore, we just brush up on our skills because every time we bowl against another organization, the second diocese, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, 19th, 28th diocese, it's just an easy game. We don't even get challenged.
We bowled on the same lane. You forgot I won.
But no. We don't get challenged. That's you.
That's you.
But if we have a team of 6, it's not happening.
Wow.
You might as well just make a trophy and just put it on our church.
Wow.
Because it's going to be there every year.
Wow.
So if you're hearing this and you press like, search, and share,
and
send it, and subscribe, please. Subscribe after I just trash talked you. But that's called gospel trash talk, where it's just challenging.
And if you got to say the famous word is to.
Oh my God!
Come on, you're slipping, man. You're slipping.
I am sorry, audience. You got to push the button and share it and like it and subscribe it. All of it.
You know, there was a time that I would rebuttal your bowling thing. I would say, well, let's just do some basketball instead. What about that? But I'm so old now, I'm broken. I don't know if I got basketball players in time.
You said that, but remember, we don't mind that.
No, you should.
But I think we're going to have to put a medical thing on it, though. We have to put a medical restriction on it.
When I was younger, y'all, I used to come up there and rip house. Me, John Briscoe, David Thompson, and Perry Gore crushed it.
Well, you must have been playing each other, so because I don't remember that.
You know what? I hope Rodney's watching. I hope Rodney Lewis is watching.
I remember that.
Crushed it.
Yeah, Rodney was a shooter, though.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm too old now. I can't do nothing.
I'm glad you said what you said, because you said the word medical, which is a good segue into what we're talking about tonight. What we learned during the pandemic.
What did we learn?
And one of the major things was dealing with medical. How, people were being sick. They couldn't get the medical treatment that was needed. Prescriptions were hard to come by. You couldn't visit people in the hospital.
Hospitals was on the rise at one time. I mean, you could even go in the hospital. I mean, you could go in the waiting area, but the restriction was you had to wear a mask regardless.
So what did we learn, actually? We know what happened, but on that case, what did we learn about our physical well-being? right? We learned that maybe we ought to take better care of ourselves.
Exactly. And make sure you have enough medicine on hand, because you just never know.
Yeah.
I mean, when you run out of your prescription, you can't get it, you in trouble. So it's a good idea is don't wait till your bottle gets half empty. Put that prescription in as soon as you can, as long as your doctor allows you to refill it.
But when you was doing that with the pandemic, though, he's like, you have to wait a little bit longer because the lines were long.
Oh my goodness!
So if you was running out of something, you have to do it really early.
Yeah,
the lines were long, and don't even try to drive through because oh my gosh. But then of course, when it's not like that, and it's Rite Aid, Walgreens, doctors, tempers flare.
Oh my goodness!
People's attitudes are different. Especially when you didn't want people to get too close to you.
Exactly.
And they'd be walking by and you say, man, he come over here one more time.
Or you better not hear nobody sneeze or cough.
Yeah. That's it. Everybody like,
you better.
As soon as you hear a sneeze, everybody was like, what? What's going on? What's going on? But the one thing I would say is I hope that the government, I hope that pharmacies also now have created ways where if something like this happens again, they have a better system. I hope that through the couple years they had to deal with it, have created systems that helped us make it a little bit easier, because but it's going to happen again sometime. Hopefully not anytime soon, but it's going to happen again. And our pharmacies, our medical. Not medical, but the companies, like the Pfizers, the Mercks, the big companies, Johnson & Johnsons of the world, they have to learn that they need to stock up and maybe be able to create more in this time when people just can't easily get there. Grubhub has made a killing, right? Yeah. Grubhub has made a killing. Pharmacies are going to have to do something on that same line. I believe. I would think.
Because if you look at the pandemic, there were negatives as well as some positives. Of course, we know the negatives, but through it all, we had some. I mean, when we were going through the pandemic at church, we learned to still have service.
Yes, on the parking lot. So even on the parking lot in their vehicles, we had to still every other one. And then, so we did all that. And the stage was in front of it. I know you got something to say. Hold it for a second, because I know you're going to say something. So every other one, and they had to stay in their cars. Right. You couldn't get out your car and someone texts you or calls you and says, oh, yes, I'm 3 rows back on your right-hand side. No, you couldn't get out your car. You had to stay in your car. And thankful,
for the most part, that was good.
Everybody was great with it. And the plunking of the horns.
That was one of the worst things I had to deal with. I'm sorry.
Really?
What?
I hated it. I hated the parking lot service.
For us, it was great.
No, I hated it.
Because we were able to cater to the community.
For about 2 or 3 months, I hated it with a passion.
Which part did you didn't like anyway? I mean, which part?
I didn't like the inside the car. I liked that they couldn't get out. I was happy when we were allowed to get out of the cars. I hated when they were in the car. Because we weren't in the car, right? So why did they have to be in the car? I didn't understand that, but we followed the guidelines. I have, so my sister's a lawyer, so she made sure we followed the guidelines, or I'm going to jail or whatever.
That's
what we did. We followed the guidelines, and then
that's what I'm saying. And I hate
Bishop was out. Even Lady Wynn was in the car when he was preaching,
right?
And the only ones that out was security and the adjutant and the worship leader.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
The worship leader was out there. The musicians were out there.
Yeah.
Right? So there were people out there. I liked it much better. But let me put it this way. What I learned though from it, because that's the important part. I'm talking about what we learned. I might not have liked it, but what I've learned is that there is still a way to engage in a service.
Absolutely.
Where you're not like you can't get inside. It doesn't mean you can't still have church.
Right.
We learned that back in the day. I don't think anybody would have thought about parking lot service.
No.
Right. I don't think that would have been on anybody's mind. Spacing, all those things, if it wasn't for the pandemic. So we did learn.
Well, you learn to be more innovative, because from that point, when we were able to transition in, we were able to have people spaced out in the sanctuary.
Yes.
So you could do it in person as well as live stream, which we're still doing today, live streaming. So we learned how to enhance the technology to still reach those who were reason feel not comfortable enough to come back. But that's one thing I think churches was more innovative. So that was a positive thing right there. They helped them understand the technology.
And the options, they still have options to this day, whether you want to wear a mask or not want to wear a mask. I mean, that's just totally up to you. But like when we was on the parking lot, the advantage also was they could listen to it on their radio.
Yes, yes.
So you didn't just have your windows down and try and hear the microphone, which the speakers, which they could hear anyway. But at the same time, what we learned is like what Mark said is that, you said, I think, how all the changes that we can make and it can be done. And you could still have church, you could still worship. I was having fun. But I mean, the worship and everything, because we was outside, we had to keep our eye, because we had people actually on the grass, on the verge, the community
was coming out
with their lawn chairs.
Right.
So we told them where they could go, and they would come out every Sunday. And he's like, sometimes they was there first because we gonna have church. So we learned.
Yeah, I think we have some comments, and please, everybody, send your comments in. Let us know what you're thinking. Ask us your questions. Give us your comments. Tell us what you learned from the pandemic, and we can discuss because I think it's important. Parking lot service was wonderful. Those that organized were superb. You have to be innovative and creative, and God was still in the midst. Yes,
absolutely. We applaud you now.
You're correct.
I just didn't like it.
That was you, man. As you came down and saw how we did it, maybe you could have modeled yourself after it. I don't know.
I think we did like everybody else did, but I think it's just the fact that I was, as I said, right? Sometimes change is difficult to deal with if you don't want it, right? And for me, I didn't want that. I wanted us to be able to congregate still, but I understood it just couldn't be done. So I was happy once they opened, let's go back in. I was happy when they told you could have more than 10 people in the building. I was excited
remember the people
I learned service doesn't need to be 5 hours either. I learned that too. Very quick.
No, that was a positive.
For us too. Because even to this day,
we still models of that.
Yes, we are.
It's crazy. Now I was gonna say it's crazy how that has been, I think, for most 90% of the churches that used to have we finish when we finish. It is totally changed. That is no longer the way it goes.
I'm not even gonna say it. But even that transitioning from there into the sanctuary. We had to mark off spaces. All the seats had to be marked where we wasn't putting it into them where they had to figure out. Right. We had it set up where this is where you got to go, this is where you got to go, and even leaving the sanctuary was different. But we're thankful now that church is church.
Right. But you said something earlier about change, because one thing we learned, even with dealing with schools, the whole change of being able to teach your children at home in a way that you normally would not been able to do so. The interesting thing about it is how some parents realized they didn't like their kids.
Not just that, but that's tough on them too, because
they didn't know how to do it.
But they had to stay home from work.
Yeah.
So you had to mix all that. And are the kids doing their work or not doing their work? And we find out that the percentage was the work level dropped. So,
and what you learned, that whole thing about that whole isolation piece with the kids, not being able to interact with their peers in a way, it basically hampered their learning.
Yeah.
Because you saw in a way they were not able to do what needed to be done. I mean, look at the educators. They were put in a area that was not normal for them, where they had to be able to teach these kids, be creative in their teaching, whether the children signed on whether they were listening or whatever the case may be. So what they learned is that they need to have a better approach when it comes to teaching their children in a situation that would happen again.
But even when the kids went back, you asking like 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-olds to wear masks nearly all day.
Right.
Could you imagine? I mean, adults have issues with that. So the kids, they just do because their parents said you have to do this. And I would love to hear the reasons. What did you really say to your child about where you're gonna wear your mask?
I tell you, ours was simple. It's just the rules, right? We don't want you to get sick because especially in the beginning, we don't know what will happen. So for us, it's wear it, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to take the chance on you saying everything is going to be okay. I'm not taking that chance. You need to wear the mask, even in church. You need to wear the mask, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen, especially early on. I was a late bloomer. I will tell you that. I was, as you all know, I had my stint in the hospital, and that changed my whole entire view of things.
You went twice, right?
No, just once. I caught it more than once, but I was once in the hospital.
Right.
So I was a late bloomer, but I thank God that it also taught me the severity of it. And the mental part of it, but for the kids, their mentality, right? Because we have a generation now that does not understand the freedom of the playground during that time, because they didn't have a playground, right? There were kids who didn't have recess. There were kids who didn't go to school and then socialize. So a lot of our kids now, that phone that they use isn't because they actually want to use it, but that's what they grew up on.
Yeah, the condition now,
right. That's what they grew up on, right? That's what they had at home. They didn't have friends like that where they could go over and play.
Right.
Because, like you said, the kids, the playgrounds, it's not no playgrounds. Like, I'm not playing with my friends no more. I can't. And if they did near the end where they had to wear their mask, that's what everybody had to do. It's like the sports. Nobody in the stands. Could you imagine playing nobody in the stands? Even when you went to play soccer yourself or play basketball yourself, all your boys were out there. And if they were, it's like, put your mask on, man. Because you sweating, you breathing hard.
Breathing hard.
You got paranoid in a sense of, like he says, when somebody sneezes, you're like, hey. If you in a store or somewhere, something like that, and somebody sneeze.
We got a few comments out here.
Let's put himself out there.
Yeah, Edward was saying this the first one.
Yeah, we also learned how important it was to look out for each other's health, even with universal precautions. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Especially when you're our age. No. Yeah, because he's too young.
But that was really important, because I remember we made a traumatic mistake and we lost somebody because of it. We were told that these kids were vaccinated and didn't have anything, and we were going around at Christmas, and one of our older mothers, then the girl wasn't even that close to her, but it happened that the young lady did have COVID, and we didn't know, and the mother called COVID. One of the mothers at church called COVID, and she passed away like 2 months later, and I was devastated. And I'm trying to be transparent, folks. The worst thing to do is to underplay this thing. It was a serious thing, and we'll have them again. You tell somebody everything is okay, and you're not sure, you are jeopardizing life.
Exactly.
And you have to be
real. That was a challenge. Just you brought it right up. That was a challenge at church. It wasn't so much. We had challenges on the parking lot, but the challenge was you had to wear a mask in the sanctuary.
Right.
It wasn't our choice. It was something that it was mandatory to do. And then people would have their masks and have it underneath their noses and doing that. And it's like, excuse me, you have to put your mask up above your nose. And you could see it irritated them, but it's not you, it's the people around you. Because sometimes people would look at us and go, the mask,
Right.
because they were conscious about what was really happening.
Right.
And it was up to us, that sense, to say it nicely, but you got to put your mask up. Right.
Yeah, I want to drop kick some people. Sorry, Mark.
I know.
I want to drop kick some people because the people that were arguing, it's all right not to wear a mask. I wanted to squash heads. I would go into stores and people are arguing about putting a mask on. I'm like, put the mask on. If you don't want to do it for you, do it for everybody else around you.
Absolutely.
And it would drive me crazy.
But YouTube was blown with that.
Oh.
YouTube was blown up with that, where they show people having fits and all that about not wearing a mask.
It's my right not to wear a mask. Yeah. It's my right to drop kick you. But okay, I'm a pastor.
What we used to show this, it was wonderful because there were people who could not go into the church.
That's right.
Would come to the parking lot service and still come to service at church now. Which, right, I mean, we see that.
That's great.
That was great. I mean, we love it. Uh-oh.
Wait. So you mean you stole people's members?
Yeah. No. Hey, look, we sold cars and we sold cars.
Right.
Sometimes we don't even know who's in the car.
Right.
But we saw them.
We saw them.
Because you know how big our parking lot is.
Yes.
It's the main parking lot, and you get all the way back into the second part.
Right. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say yeah. Okay then. All right. I just got in trouble. Miss Anita Broder says parents didn't know how to parent because they weren't spending as much time with their kids prior to the pandemic.
And that's true. Come on, think about it.
Wow.
They send their kids to school so somebody else can babysit their children.
Anita going in, bro.
And as soon as they got home, it's like, who are you?
Wait. Bring Anita's back. You're jumping too quick.
Okay. We're gonna do Esther's in a minute. But
she said parents didn't know how to parent because I'm not so sure. Come on, hold on.
She's right.
No. So our parents sent us to school, right?
Remember, this is during the pandemic.
I understand, but our parents sent us to school. So parenting, it just became a more serious issue because parents now were given more responsibility. I know for me, I hated it because I had to make sure she was on, paying attention. I had to make sure she did her work because kids weren't doing their work.
This is true.
Which is true.
And it wasn't I learned how to parent, it was that it just more responsible. I became a teacher, an at-home teacher, and I don't want to be an at-home teacher.
So in other words, you learned how to parent.
No. I was parenting before. I think that we had to do more than our parents did. Unless you homeschooled your child. We do more than our parents did. Our parents got a chance to say, go to school, get out of here. And when they came home, go play. I know your parents kicked y'all out the house to go play.
Right. Yeah, but that was us, though.
That was us, right?
But we're talking about like here now.
I know your parents kicked y'all out.
And when we say the kids don't want to go to school, we're not saying all the kids. That's stupid if we say that.
Some.
But there's a good amount of children who's like, why are we gonna go to school? Well, I mean, we can do this at home. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So,
well, I like Esther. Thank you, Esther. Educators definitely deserve the golden crown. They do because they went above and beyond and try to educate other people's children while through this whole pandemic.
And the issues they had to go through. Oh, she come back. Oh my God.
Oh boy, here we go.
You're in trouble down there. Oh, where'd she go?
I don't like the fact that health centers are no longer enforcing masks. I'm extremely cautious when going to the doctor's office.
Well, some still do, though. No,
and you know what's crazy though? Before the pandemic, we wouldn't care if people were coughing or doing whatever.
Exactly.
Right. So it's kind of weird that now you're kind of stuff like it's just weird.
But no, back then, think about it. When we went to the doctor by a cough, it was like either a common cold or flu. Now this stuff will take you out. This will put you in the hospital. So that's why it's a total difference.
But the flu could take you out. You know how many people die from the flu every year?
But not like the COVID was going, man. Come on.
Well, okay. What was the last time you wore a mask?
Me?
Yes.
My wife sometimes make me wear a mask. I'm trying to think. The funeral. We had a funeral about 2 months ago. That's the last time.
The last time I wore a mask is I had to go to a doctor's office, and it was mandatory that you had to wear one.
My doctor, the doctor's office that I go to, he only has 2 people come in. He stretched out. He no longer has the 6 people all waiting in there. He only has 2 people waiting, and you just sit away from each other.
No.
Well, I go to one of those major healthcare providers, so there's gonna be a lot of people in there.
I mean, I have masks in my car, but if there was dust, that'd still be dusty. Not because I mean I don't wear the mask.
My wife
unless I have to. And I know there's a lot of people like that. They just did not want to wear a mask. And they're the ones who gave the verbals. So
my wife still wears a mask.
I had it on.
Yeah.
When?
We had a big funeral at our church, and I was up by the pastor, but the choir was behind me, and I didn't want all that spray coming over top of my head. So I was like inhaling. I knew my mask is going on. So no.
But my wife
the soprano section was behind me. They were blowing.
It was crazy though, because my daughter had a play. She was in The Lion King, and the place was packed, and there was a lot of no mask on. But my wife heard somebody cough.
That was it. That was it.
He's like, "Give me a mask. Give me a mask."
Oh, family! Hey. You're welcome, sir. We learned how dirty the world is, and we still didn't learn.
And he's right.
Yes.
Yes. You know, and to his point, what we found out during this whole thing are people doing price gouging.
Yes.
I mean, and hoarding. People were just nasty. I mean, look at all the shelves that were cleared out. You know, and
so which dirty does he mean though? Dirty people, or the world was environmentally dirty, or both?
I think dirty people.
I think dirty people.
Some dirty people.
Okay. He can just put it on there, and we'll see. But
let's talk about dirty people, because there were dirty people. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and you think about when you went to the store, the shelves were empty. People had like 10 cases of water and didn't want to give it to somebody who really needed it. I mean, stuff like that. Bought up all detergents and stuff. And you know, they'll have the sign on the shelf that say, you know, 1 per person. People had like 3 or 4 things in their cart. I'm like, come on, really?
Well, New Jersey, you don't mess with the checkout person. If it said 1 per, they were like, you got 2.
Yeah, there was places like that. A certain amount.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I tried to do it one time. Why Lysol? You know Lysol's tough to get. So it was 1 per person. I had 2, and I put the 2 down. She looked at me. She's like, "Sir," I'm like, "One's for me and one's for my wife." She goes, "I only see you."
Come on, Pastor. You know you're not supposed to do that, Pastor.
I sat here taking. I felt so bad. People lied behind me. They didn't think I didn't know who I was. They would have got me then.
Oh,
but I think what is the dirty people is those who just took advantage of every situation.
Oh yeah,
about the pandemic period.
Yes.
Okay, so you used the quote. People took all the stuff off the shelf.
Right.
Now, is that dirty or is that smart? Like, I'm not talking about it. Like, I'm not talking about.
I think it was being selfish.
I'm talking about like in the beginning when you really didn't know what was going on, and they took like cases of water. Was that dirty or was that kind of like okay? I don't know.
You stocking up, man.
You stocking up. That's
I'm sorry. Yeah,
stocking up.
You stocking up. You don't know. And if you have a big family, you can't go in there and get 3 bottles or 3 packets of toilet paper or napkins or something. You need a bulk. So everyone's situation was different. It's just that when people just got nasty with it.
Right.
How much toilet paper did you guys have at one time? Towel paper. Did you stock up?
That's personal, man. I ain't gonna tell you that.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Every time I went to the store, if it was on the shelf, I bought one.
I understand that. I understand that.
I must have had about 25 Charmin bags at one time. We just kept buying them because
we just went to the bathroom less. We just went to the bathroom less. We had a timer on the door. You're not allowed. You can't.
But you know, it was sad when the president of the United States had to come on and tell people that this price gouging has to stop.
Yeah.
Because people were just going crazy with it, man. It was like supply and demand was out the window. It was like supply, I'm gonna make you demand it.
What a minute. Shirley has to explain no. I mean, from who? From what? From where? No. What? I mean, yeah.
She'll come back.
She'll come back. Those parents did not realize what kind of job they were doing with their kids until they had to stay home with them. See, another one of the kids.
He's right.
But he's right.
He's right.
I didn't know a whole bunch of stuff that, to tell you the truth, I didn't know teachers, like they even say give teachers a crown, the person who said that. I totally agree, because just dealing with the one student, my daughter, was headache enough. I'm thinking, Jesus, you got to deal with 20 of these? Right. So I am totally in agreement to give the teachers a crown. Are there educational aspects, from being a teacher to a 3-year-old at the time and 7-year-old, from waiting in long lines for medications, waiting for hours to get tested, etc.?
Oh yes, the testing was horrible.
My goodness.
I mean, long lines or whatever. Actually, I only went in. I'm sorry, one line. That was it. I got tested one time. I got COVID once, so I was cool with that. But I know what she's saying about it. I know what she's saying. That's horrible, especially when you got kids and they have to be with you. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I know when we jump ahead some comments, I just happened to see one that really stuck out.
Here we go again.
You might put that. It says, during the pandemic, couples came to the realization that they didn't like each other. Don't worry, Mark. I'm not referring to you.
Oh no.
Thank you, babe.
You gotta put an exclaimer out there.
But in all truth, because my neighbor, he's an attorney, he was sharing with me, he says, Mark, you wouldn't believe how many divorce cases I'm dealing with right now during this pandemic. Because husband and wives, they started to hate each other. They hated the fact they would whip each other 24/7. I know what you're about to say, Ruth, but they were starting to the point where a lot of stuff was festering. But the positive thing for me was that I was able to be at home working with my wife. We were able to have more time together, relearn each other again, if that's such a phrase, and we just had fun with the situation. So it was different.
You know what? That thing is that irks me. That this thing they said, the pandemic made couples. First of all, it made you look at your relationship, and you have to make some changes. They want to make the changes. They just didn't want to make the change. They said, you know what, we're going to do. I don't want to get into that. Okay.
Oh, somebody got a little hot.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time though, of course I was delivering mail then, and we still had to work.
Yeah. And
we had to wear a mask. It was mandatory to wear a mask inside. It was mandatory to wear one outside, whether come rain, sleet, whatever happened. It was difficult, but I just remember we still had to work. Yeah. I didn't have one of those jobs where you could just, I mean, if I could deliver mail from home, if I could deliver it from home, that would have been great, but I can't deliver mail from home.
Right. I mean, I enjoyed it because, again, I was able to spend more time with my wife, and we just had more fun. But, when you say about a job, or with my son, he was got a promotion to move to New York, got up there in New York, pandemic hit, lost his job.
But the thing about it, though, the family, they did call me all the time. Are you okay, Dad? Are you good? You got your mask on? You're not in a crowded area? Then people or what? So they did check on me. So that was great.
Right.
All my family's in this house.
What did he say?
But a lot of people went through a whole lot of financial issues during this pandemic too. So it was rough for a lot of people.
Let's go back up one.
Yeah.
We said he was decontaminating. Well, listen to the end though. I still decontaminate our church building once a month. Why? Because of our senior mothers.
Which is right.
Well, let me. So how can this story? So we know that this stuff doesn't stay forever, right? The COVID, it dies on wood in 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever it is, on metal, whatever. Right. Boxes, 48 hours. We had nobody in our church for like 3 months. Nobody. But they would not go in until I decontaminated the church. I'm like, wait a minute. I was so heated. I was like, yo, understand this stuff does not stick around. There's nobody been in church for 3 months. We can go in.
It's a mindset, man. It's just a mindset.
That's the thing. That's one of the things I learned is that people get caught up on not, or people don't read for themselves.
They hear social media.
Only what they hear is what they're going to go to. A bunch of people just, whatever I hear is what I believe.
Right.
They don't read for themselves. I learned that so clearly during the pandemic. All right, sorry.
Yeah,
that's okay. That was good.
We go to the next one.
Yeah, my son back again. Okay, so he said that I also learned I'm a true introvert and low key was fine with being away from people. Laugh out loud.
I find that hard to believe.
No, he's true. He's right. No. He do. I do the same. I'm fine. I'm good with that.
You know what? There's a difference between being fine, being away for a while, versus being introvert.
Right. And I don't believe one thing you just said. Come on.
Not him. I know he's not.
No, not him. No.
Oh, stealing members. Oh, she's talking about what I said.
Stealing members. No. Come on. Listen to Shirley. You know we ain't stealing no members.
I don't know that. I'm gonna talk to Bishop.
Okay, this is from one of our faithful, Dex Bonds. During the pandemic lockdown, I had to practice social distance with people who I don't live at home with to protect myself and my family, who I do live at home with. You
That's
can't
the truth.
confuse me with these words, but yes, it's true.
That's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. You had to practice these things so that you were protecting your family, even if you didn't want to. And that's what I had to learn. And my wife was really good. So I don't know about your wives. My wife had a routine when she went shopping. And the one time I went with her, I was like, I can't go again with you. Got into the car, everything wiped down with a wipe.
Yes.
Sanitize your hand.
Yes.
Drive to the store. Get to the store. Sanitize your hand again. Wipe everything down again. Get out the car. Wipe the handle. Get the cart. Wipe the cart down 2 times. Walk in the store. Literally, if a person came anywhere close to my wife, she'd be like, "Excuse me, excuse me."
No, I did that one time. I gotta admit, I'm with your wife on this one. Hey. I did that. Look, I was at 7-Eleven. And I was the third one behind. And this guy, I mean, he was all like this. And I turned around. I said, "Sir, your dot is right there." It's like, your dot is right there. You need to go back some, man. But he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. He went back because, then they had dots in the line. So,
well, even today, we still wipe our groceries off when we get them sometimes. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Anita and Holly, they do it all the time. I
hope my wife's not listening.
Yeah.
I hope my wife's not listening because that was the thing. I used to, groceries come in, wipe the bags down. Oh my God. Put it to the side. Don't touch it for 24 hours. Don't touch it.
Oh no, we still touch it after we wipe it down. The one thing I learned that you don't do is wipe down a cereal box or pancake box. That box looks so messed up. I haven't even wiped it all down.
You was wiping the cereal box.
Yes, everything was being wiped down.
You know what? I gotta go back to it though. You know what I always thought was funny was at church. We didn't talk about this one with the microphone. The person who came to spray every time.
We still do that now.
You still spray every time?
No, we'll wipe down the mic, and then we'll change the mic cover.
So we have individual mics for different people.
The sprayer. Remember, there were some churches where the guy would stand there. The usher, whoever it was, every time they go. Step away.
Oh yeah, we did that.
I remember we had wipes where had to pass the mic and go up and.
Yeah. we did that too, and I was so glad when we could stop. I remember this. I'm like, oh God, but we have to get back to the covers. We stopped with the covers. I'm gonna get back to the covers. We've been fortunate though, and I maybe it's because of our numbers. We lost. We reduced the number. But we don't do the covers anymore, but I got to get back to it. There's some things that we don't do that I'm surprised my sister hasn't killed me on. If she's listening, I probably get back
in the
to
live still.
Yeah.
And we got, like you said, we have individual mics for people. Bishop has his own mic. Worship leader has their own mic, so that way you're not cross-contaminated. Oh man, what Esther says here is so true, and I'm hoping people did do this, because during this pandemic, it was a time for you to actually steal away and be with God. If anything, it would made you want to get closer to Him, because you have more time to read, more time to meditate, and more time to pray.
10%.
Did he say what? Did he say
10%.
Well, her question was, we also should have learned how to reconnect with God at a deeper level. So that's what Mark was saying.
10%.
Okay, sir, can you explain to me what you mean by the 10%?
10% of the people are still at a deeper level with God. The other 90% did it during the pandemic and lost it. Didn't care about it anymore. 10% of the people are at a deeper level, but the other 90 during the pandemic, they tried to, but that's what I've learned as a pastor.
Okay.
Because, and I'll say, let me give you an example. You know people better now as a leader than you knew them before the pandemic.
I agree.
Because they showed their true skin colors.
Oh, yes.
Right? So the deeper level, maybe 10% of the people that you have got to a deeper level. The other 90, some of them left, some of them are still online, not in the church, not coming back to the sanctuary.
But they'll go to the ball game, they'll go to the mall, they'll go to everything else, but they won't
everywhere else. They'll go everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go to family gatherings, barbecues in the backyard. But they're not going to come. You've learned so much about people. Back in the day, people don't leave church in the struggle. They leave church when things are going well. I've seen people leave church in the struggle. When the church needs you the most, you get up and go. That to me is crazy. But we've seen it all, and that's all across all churches.
Right.
That's not just, I don't care if you were big, small, medium. I don't care what color your church was, what nationality. People left because they did not want to struggle with the church that was struggling, or with churches all, and all churches were struggling. Then you got to see it. Finances, preaching, music, because we had to do things differently. So you couldn't just do what you normally did.
So, I mean, like today, we changed the way how we lift the offering at church. Completely different. It's not the way it was done back pre-pandemic, or is it post-pandemic? One of them. Post. So everything's done different now.
Yeah, and I guarantee you probably had different. You probably had a different amount during the pandemic. Your offerings were suffering, but it may have gotten better now, right? Where some churches offerings actually got better during the pandemic because people gave the church learned how to garnish the giving, and giving increased. I've known pastors said our giving increased. Mine didn't, but I know pastors said that.
But you've heard also about churches that closed up because of the pandemic. A lot of churches closed up, so they didn't learn or took steps to help them in the event something like that were to happen.
Yeah.
So hopefully churches have learned from that, so that if that were to happen again, they got a mechanism in place so they would not have to shut their doors down.
Well, what we all learned, we got to spend a whole bunch of money on technology. We all learned that. Every church learned that now. Right? Every church learned that you have to spend money on technology. You have to get the right computers, get the right sound, get the right visuals, make sure you're streaming, know how to stream. I just spent a ton of money to make sure all that's right now, because I said I can't do it the way we're doing it now because ours was horrible. So I said, okay, let's do it. So we just did it. So by our anniversary, we're going to be Mwah, as I was told. So
Okay.
Yeah. So this is why I know this is my son. This is why I know. I learned that mask protected me from bad breath during conversations and prayers. Ooh, Lord have mercy.
Not in all cases, because some breath was coming through the mask.
It's true. It's true. And it's like you can't tell one give a mint. So I mean, because they already had a mask on. So yeah, like father, like son, I guess. This is Sophia. She is
my daughter, my little one.
Oh,
hi, Sophia.
That's
hi,
my
Sophia.
little one.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, Sophie.
Okay. We learned how easy it was for the media to sell us any message, and we believe anything they told us.
Fake news.
That fake news, and that's a true statement right there, because everybody listened to anything that was negative. And got people scared, worried, don't do this, don't do that. So,
well, like how you have those who felt that the pandemic was a conspiracy theory, or the COVID shots. They say it was conspiracy. And they believed a lot of those people that they showed died didn't really die
from COVID.
They claimed didn't die from COVID. I'm like, come on. I mean, all these dead people trying to say they did not actually die from COVID. Come on.
But you know what? This is my fake news thing, and we've had people in the past bring the fake news up. Fake news does not come from large media outlets that their journalism is being captured, because you can lose everything. It's coming from those folks that don't have journalism. They're not falling under the guise of journalism. They're just creating a live stream like we do, and we can say anything, and if we have enough followers, they'll believe us. It's like that. It's like that guy that told that's like what you said that people aren't dying, even though we see a ticker, 5 million people dead. People aren't dying from this, and it's so disrespectful to everybody who's lost somebody due to that COVID. It's disrespectful to come on and say it's not real.
Right. That's like those crazy said the Holocaust didn't exist.
Oh yeah. Well, what was that one guy said the Bible's not real? But there's
yeah. Them the type of people you just want to get in and go. You can't.
So Esther was saying, whoa, great. You are really talking like you were on the women's retreat. People leaving the church after the pandemic was definitely in the message.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's worldwide. Everybody knows that. I mean, we see it every Sunday. It can be hit or miss. Who's going to walk in? Who's not going to walk in? And, when you look at a lot of the churches on live stream, you see some of the congregations that will have a full congregation, and you have some who maybe have like a few people. I mean, there's one person that's on Facebook all the time, maybe 1 or 2 people in the congregation, but they're still going forward.
Yeah.
It is strange, because it almost felt like those pastors and those leaders who didn't listen to the rules and say, come out to church. It was almost like we should have did the same thing, because they did not, their church is still full because they didn't let their members stream or do parking lot worship. We who followed the rules have almost been penalized for doing the right thing. And it's strange.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's it. Wow. That's the system, man.
Deborah Johnson came on and said, wow, because I said that he's going to get me for the...
and that wow covers a huge umbrella.
Oh, no, he knows why she's saying wow.
Yeah, because they're right. I know, because I said that she's going to get me for not following some of the rules. That we have to do that.
Wow.
Like,
really,
wow. Pastor? There's something else. Well, I know we don't have much time. We don't have a lot of comments still. I want people to talk. I want to talk about this thing, though. What have we learned, and what should we do? For individuals, now that we know kind of what things happened, what we're going through, what do you think is the number one thing that you would now change about your life to make sure that if this thing happens again, that you'll be more prepared?
Well, you just said it right there. Be prepared. I mean, you already said it in the sentence right there. Just make sure you're being prepared. You have, resilience. You're looking at what you need to look at, gathering what you need to gather. Make sure your health is in good part if you can. And I mean, that preparedness is a huge umbrella, and a lot of stuff will fall under that.
Just like what he's saying, and I guess a lot of it is like, because we concentrate a lot on the church, because we even found out that someone in Australia got stabbed in the church too, in Australia. So being prepared, being, what's the word? When we're looking around all the time, there's a word for it?
Observant.
Observant, yes. Being prepared, observant. Even in your own life, when you're going out somewhere, or home, outside, anywhere, you're more vigilant of your surroundings. I'm not saying everyone is, but because of the position that we're in now, you're like more observant. You're trying to be more prepared and watching out for members, because we try our best to do what our pastor is preaching, because he believes in it so much, with the love and the care and how to treat people and how to do that. And we concentrate on that a lot, not just for the church, but even when we go out into the world and wherever we go, to a supermarket or something, how you talk to people, how you just do the same thing. You're not doing it because you're talking to church people. You got to do to everybody who you talk to, because you never know who you're talking to. So that was me.
Well, also I learned that from this pandemic, people driving,
oh Lord,
has gone to a different level.
Oh Lord.
Because you think about it, during the pandemic, a lot of cars were not on the road.
That's another show.
So people just was like, boom, 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 boom.
That's another show.
The pandemic, people are still going boom, 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 boom.
Hey, look, let's run down these questions. You can say
That's
yours.
what I learned.
You say yours, Rupert. We have 6 minutes, and then we.
Well, I'll say mine after this, because Ken put this out there. The pastor stayed at the church, trusted in Jesus, and were rewarded. That's untrue. Their reward may come afterwards. We don't know. We'll see what happens. My sister now, I told people my sister's going to get mad at this. She's rebuttaling. Those churches that stayed open risk lives. We are law abiders. God is God of decency and order. Okay? I told her she was going to blow it up. She's saying that if the law says this is what we should do, the Bible says, obey them that have the rule over you. Right? So they're saying, close the doors. Our job is to close the doors and do what many of churches did. Find other ways to worship. We learned how to worship.
And we did.
Yeah.
And we did. Those pastors that didn't, some of them lost many people. I remember there was a guy in Canada, I think it was.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
That he was like, I'm not shutting the doors down. I'm not doing it. And literally like 150 of his members died of COVID.
Yeah.
So and we don't know the reward's is there. They were rewarded. They could end up in hell for all we know for not following what God said. Stock up on your Lysol. Yes, Simone. Yes. I learned that.
Yes.
What my answer was going to be was, I've learned three things. One is, spend time with your family, love them. There are more ways than having to just, go out, talk. Holidays are big. Have your holiday functions. Don't miss them. Try to be part of them. Your family is in the family, because you don't know when you're going to be locked away and you can't see them because of some pandemic. Number two, I learned, sometimes once there's a little bit of hint out there about something coming on, I was never a stalker. I'm going to start stocking up on some things. And number three, I learned that, like you said, just because you have church doesn't mean that's the only way to do church.
No.
We have to be innovative. We have to reach the world. God didn't put us there just to sit back and say, come through the door. And if you don't, life goes on. We have to go out there and reach. And there's different ways to reach people to be cognizant. That's what I learned.
And the Lysol joke is that, I know what she's putting that up also, is that I was at the post office, of course, and I had a stash. I knew where to get Lysol for cheap. And so from a store. So I would stock it up and take it home. Simone, our house, Sabrina, whatever. I mean, we'll give out the Lysol, man. It was very important at that time.
He went to the Lysol dealer.
No.
Hey, you have some Lysol?
No.
You know what? Simon, could you see Howard driving his truck, stopping someplace going, I got some Lysol.
No, my Lysol was going home to my family.
You know what I'm saying? He went to the Lysol dealer. Come on, man, you got my fix,
I'll give you 3 sheets. I'll give you 3 sheets. I'll give you 3 sheets for $1. 3 sheets for $1.
I'll give you a book of stamps.
Just give me one can. Just give me one can.
Okay, Ken, let's get Ken. I would believe only 10% of what the media puts out. I look back and ask myself, what was I so afraid? I did not leave my house for 2 months, and what changed between then and now? But time. Disagree. We don't have time to talk about that. I wish I did, but I always disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
No, man, all are not perfect. Just look at history. I don't have time to preach. Let's go.
This one's true though. Don't take the little things for granted.
Yeah, big. Yeah. I agree. Totally agree.
Oh, there you go. See, he's definitely the
Thank you. There you go.
From the route. See, thank you, Simone. Thank you.
No,
it was on my route.
Yeah, he pulled up. Hey man, you got my fix. You got my fix. You got my fix.
But you know what's funny? When he started the story, he goes, I was post office, and all the only thing that came to my mind was he opened up Lysol boxes. He got Lysol.
Different story.
Oh man, hey look, we had a lot of good conversation tonight, and we always run out of time. Just when it starts getting good, when you learn that my man here was going to a Lysol dealer, go get 3 books of stamps on the Lysol.
Hey, look, we're gonna have to ask a question. Do we stay in an hour or go to hour and a half? Because that's gotta be a question forward, bro.
Well, stay tuned next week for another exciting show.
Yes.
You'll find out what it is sometime tomorrow. And you just might hear say,
you're welcome. I don't know if that was on time or not, but hey, everybody.
We'll find out. We love y'all. Thank you. That was great.